The Safdies, they are back and they are creating a film each. They aren't collaborating, which is very weird. And the first one is out, and that is Benny Safdie's The Smashing Machine, starring The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, and follows Mark Kerr as he goes through the trials and tribulations of his UFC career. First off, you're probably wondering, what's The Rock like? He's very good. He's probably gonna get that Oscar nomination. This is basically what the film is made for. It's made for that Rock Oscar nomination. He has a weird, quiet energy to him, which we're not really used to with him. But I think it works. I think that going quiet and going very reserved is definitely something that the Academy will look at and be like, yeah, we'll nominate you, pal. Because at the end of the day, quiet performances do get nominated. Just look at Paul Mescal in Aftersun. That performance was quiet. It wasn't loud, it wasn't obnoxious or anything, but it still slipped through the cracks, and I can see The Rock definitely getting in there somehow. I also think shooting on film is definitely the way forward for this, because the film itself is kind of lucid. It's given a 90s feel, 90s, early 2000s kind of feel, and shooting on film definitely encapsulates that in a really interesting way, you know? Emily Blunt's good, but I didn't need to tell you that. She's good in everything, even fucking Jungle Cruise, and I hate that movie. But the film itself, something just doesn't work for me. I think it's down to pacing. The pace is pretty shoddy. Like, it's not a good paced film at all. There's a lot of memes on Twitter going around being like, oh yeah, this is just an empty sandwich. It's basically just two buns with nothing in it. And yeah, that is kind of true, but at the same time, there is something to be said about the addiction story and the way that Mark Kerr went about it in particular. But the film came to a grinding halt as soon as Emily Blunt came on screen. I just didn't buy her character whatsoever. I think that's down to the writing. I don't necessarily think that Benny Safdie knew what to do with Dawn, which is a bit of an issue when she's literally second build. Because in the film she comes across as like this antagonist for Mark, almost like this unstoppable force that's stopping him from doing the things that he wants to do. And even the people around him are like, yeah, she's a bit of an issue. But I don't necessarily know if that was true in real life. I haven't seen the other documentary that this is based on. And there are good argument scenes in here. I think that The Rock pulls them off with pretty good conviction. But when they happen, they kind of just fade into obscurity because you're randomly just cut into the UFC, which is what the film's technically about. It is about his UFC journey. But at the same time, we are kind of pushed away from the character. We're not necessarily close up like we should be. So the Smashing Machine, it's fine. It does what it needs to do. But at the same time, I think that it should go a little bit deeper, considering that Mark Kerr was someone who's a pioneer in his sport. He dealt with the issues of addiction to prescription drugs. He dealt with marital problems. He dealt with things of which I don't think people should really go through, but they do. But Benny telling it in this way just doesn't necessarily go to plan. And that's a bit unfortunate. I'm going to give The Smashing Machine a 6 out of 10. I still liked it. I think that Benny knew what he wanted to say. And I think that The Rock is great. I think that the way that it's shot is pretty awesome. And the score, man, that score is juicy. Adding to that lucid feel, definitely. It feels like Ichiko Ayoba kind of music, which one of my favorite artists is Ichiko Ayoba. So that worked. But yeah, there was just something missing for me. But yeah, that's my thoughts on Smashing Machine. You guys might think something different. This is just my opinion, as always. But yeah, thank you guys for watching this video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and tell me down below what you want to see from me next. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.